In the new book, Dynasty, that covers the Patriots' historic run with Tom Brady, new details emerged about just how severe his thumb injury was in 2018. According to Brady's surgeon, his jam thumb tore skin apart so much that it looked like he had been slashed with a blade. And he was amazed that the QB hadn't broken any bones or torn ligaments. Just 4 days later, Brady threw for 290 yards and 2 touchdowns against the Jaguars to advance to the Super Bowl. So, Shannon, how much more impressed are you with Brady's win over the Jaguars, now learning what he went through?
I'm not impressed at all. I mean, Skip would have you believe that the man missed a thumb. They found a glove with a thumb on it and put him out there and he threw the ball with no thumb. I do not believe this injury occurred as they said. Now, in order for that injury to happen, Tom Brady's thumb would have had to bend back this way to get a gate. Because if it does like this, no. If it does like that, no. Now, I jammed my thumb and I played with a thumb splint on mine to keep my thumb from bending back like that. Now, you look at injuries, gruesome injuries. Joe Theismann, we saw the skin break. We saw the bone break through the skin. We saw Alex Smith, the bone come through the skin. Robert Edwards, the bone comes through the skin. Now, when we're dealing with elderly people, someone that has diabetes, someone that's elderly that doesn't have the elasticity, don't get enough water, the skin will tear. The skin will tear, yes, absolutely. But for him to say the thumb bent back so far that it didn't break, it didn't dislocate, it didn't tear any ligaments, but it ripped the skin. Nah, I believe this was an injury that happened at home. Tom Brady covered it up and pretended to come out there and that happened. I do not believe this injury happened the way they said it. I'll go to my grave believing that. Now, that's the end of that one.
And you'll go to your grave wrong. This reporting by Jeff Benedict in this book was astonishing to me. It is third-level, fly-on-the-wall reporting, and he flat out writes, on a routine play at practice, Brady handed off the ball, got his thumb caught with Rex Burkhead trying to grab the ball a little prematurely and yanked so hard on his thumb that it hyperextended and it ripped the skin wide open. And if you read this carefully, they have a hand specialist who is their surgeon for a lot of the Boston teams, but especially for the Patriots, named Matthew Liebman. And when he first got the picture texted to him, he said, holy, you know what, the SH word. And he was shocked to find that because in 99% of the cases, as you just alluded to, when you yank the thumb back so hard like that it just rips open the skin and you can see the bone, usually the bone breaks because it's loaded so hard backwards, it's just going to fracture.
Because something has to tear the skin open like that.
And usually a ligament or a tendon is going to go with it.
Correct.
And usually you're going to be down, and this is your right thumb, so throwing thumb, your season is over. And they said Brady was sitting in the medical area on a stretcher with tears in his eyes because he thought his career had ended. And when the doctor got there, Belichick was watching and never said a word. You want to talk about cold-blooded? He never.
What are you supposed to say? He ain't no doctor. What do you have to offer, a second opinion?
A little bit of sympathy.
No,
maybe.
we don't do that.
And this
it's football.
Piece points out he never said a word, listened to the doctor, and then walked away. And
because what did I tell you? So I'm starting to think Coach Belichick don't believe it happened. Skip, now you do know, like, when you hand him, it's his right thumb. So in order for that to happen, he had to be handing the ball off to his left side because the ball is in his right thumb. Now, Skip, if you tell me he and Rex Burkhead ran together, he went one way, Rex Burkhead went the wrong way, they come together like we chest bump and his thumb goes back. But I'm trying to figure out how you hand the ball off like this and bend the thumb back like that.
Freak accident injury. And this reporting, this book says that Rex Burkhead came in just before they did the surgery back in the locker room and was crying huge tears. And Brady told him, it's not your fault. I love you, man, which he always says. So I guess this guy just made it all up. I don't know.
Skip, yes, that's what I'm telling you. I believe this was a kitchen injury. This was an injury that happened at home.
And fabricated his whole book. I don't know.
Skip, hold on, Skip. Whew. just because that doesn't mean that all the book is a fabrication. I just don't believe that this happened like they said it did. I'm sorry. I've been around and I've seen some freak injuries, but I've never seen anything where the thumb bends completely back that's so hard it tears the skin, but it doesn't break or tear any ligaments.
So Dr. Liebman said, this requires surgery. I need to take you to the OR for surgery. And he said, no, we're going to do it right here. Okay, we'll do it right here. So he injects the thumb a bunch of times with painkiller. And then he goes in and cleans out all the way to the bone, the dirt particles that got in from practice. And then it required 25 sutures of high caliber thread, the thicker thread, because he said, if you're going to try to play on this in 4 days, I got to go thick thread here. And I got to do crisscross sutures where let's hope they'll hold.
And crazy glue.
And you cannot do anything on this for 4 days. The next day he goes back to see how he's doing, and they're already throwing the football. And he said, you can't. It's going to split open again. Tom said, I'm going to play. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to get ready to play. And then the great detail was 2 minutes before kickoff, after he had warmed up and they're playing the national anthem, Tom comes in and sees Dr. Liebman in the dressing room, in the locker room again, and he says, Doc, you need to do one thing for me. You need to cut the tops off each of the sutures because they protrude about a quarter of an inch. He said, it's bothering my throws because I can feel them wipe against the football. And he said, I can't do that, Tom. If I cut them, it's going to split open. You know it and I know it. And he said, cut them. Okay, and he cut them off, and you know the rest of the story. They're playing Jacksonville. They're down 20-10 in the fourth quarter, AFC Championship game, and Tom Brady in the fourth quarter throws for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns, and all Belichick wanted to talk about after the game was Danny Amendola. He said, if you look in the dictionary under football player, you'll see the picture of Danny Amendola.
I believe, Skip Bayless, that Coach Belichick smells something fishy. That's why the man, because you mean to tell me a man right there that's done all that, rips his hand open right there in practice, you witness it? Coach Belichick says something don't smell good.
I guess this is
something doesn't smell good.
I don't know.
He said something smells like cod.
Really?
Yeah, something smells like 3-day-old cod.
So reporters kept asking.
AC, you smell that too?
Yeah.
Coach Belichick smelled it out, said, you think you're slick.
So reporters kept asking Belichick, well, don't you think it was pretty special that Tom sucked it up?
And what did he say?
He said, it wasn't exactly open heart surgery. And from the descriptions that I read here, it's pretty close.
No, it wasn't.
It's pretty close to open heart surgery. If you're ripped open to the bone where you can see the exposed bone in your throwing hand, you got a problem because you know and I know the thumb plays a huge role in guiding the football. It's hard to throw it with any velocity or accuracy if your thumb has 20 stitches in it. I'm sorry, this was all time. And that Belichick quote, it wasn't exactly open heart surgery. That was the death knell for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, I promise you. Because all time, you know what? It's a minor miracle. He played 2 weeks later against Philly and threw for a all-time playoff record, 505 yards. I've never seen anything like this before.
Death knell,
you should be impressed for the first time.
The death knell should have came when we tried to trade you. When we tried to get Jimmy G in there. That should have been the death knell. You thought we were playing? You thought this was a game? You thought this was a joke?
So this year, every time Tom throws a pass, in the very back of his psyche, he's going to be thinking, open heart surgery, that, Coach Belichick.
I'm happy. I'm happy with my guy. Because I want to do my guy. I ain't got to share no limelight with you. Get your own band. Coach Belichick said, I'm the lead singer of this group. You trying to say...